Hi there. Today we are going to do a review of averages of raw data. Okay, you can see on the screen we have the four main averages that you need to be aware of as you approach your GCSE exams. We have the mode, the range, the median, and the mean. We are going to work through a series of questions and find out these four averages from the raw data set. And hopefully by the end of the session, we'll be able to have a go at a few questions and also be able to come up with some definitions of the four averages. I've put them in the order mode, range, median, and mean. And that's just a personal preference. I think I've put them in the order of how complex they are to work out. You may agree, you may disagree, but in this lesson, that is the order I will be approaching the averages. Okay, so here's a set of raw data. By raw data, I mean a list of numbers. The numbers could represent scores in a football match, they could represent ages. The data set could represent a discrete set of data. Okay, so we have a raw data set. I've made it a very small data set for the sake of this video, for the sake of learning the process and learning the averages. First average I want us to find is the mode. From this data set, the mode is very simple to find. The mode is always the most common value or the most frequent value or the number you can see the most often. So you can see in this question that there is two 2's, making the 2 our mode, the most common. Then we need to have a look at finding the range. To find the range of a data set, you find the largest number and you find the smallest number in the data set. And you do a subtraction to find the range between these two numbers. So you're finding sort of how far the data stretches from the largest value to the smallest value. So the range in this data set would be 7, subtract 2. It's going to take us to a range of 5. The data is spread over a range of 5. To find the median means the middle value. We want the middle number of the data. But we also need to make sure that we put the data in order from smallest to biggest, in ascending order from smallest to biggest, before we work out the central number, the middle number, the median. So if I rewrite these numbers in order, it would be 2, 2, 4, 5, 7. Which would then mean that the median value, the number in the middle, was the number 4. So you can see from my working out here, I've placed the raw data in order from smallest to biggest, and then my middle value is number 4. If you have a larger data set, you'll find that if you cross off the smallest and cross off the largest, then cross off the second smallest and second largest, you will eventually end up with your middle value. So in this question, the median is 4. Make sure you put the data in ascending order. That's a very common mistake from some students. To find the mean, we look at the data set and we add up every number in the data set to get a total, and then we divide by how many numbers in the data set. So in this question, I'm going to do 2, add 4, add 5, add 2, add 7 to get a total. And then I'm going to divide by 5 because there's 5 numbers in this data set. So to find the mean, I will add my values together to get a total of 20. And then I'll take that total, divide by 5 to tell me that my mean is 4. So we've worked out the 4 averages from this quite simple data set. Let's have a go at another question. Just before I have a go at this next question, A good friend and colleague of mine has just walked into the room, and I do know for a fact that he knows a little rhyme, a little song, which helps you remember the 4 averages. Mr. Brown, would you mind?
It is first thing in the morning, and I haven't quite warmed up my vocal cords yet, but here we go. I'll do it soprano for Mr. Slonson's benefit. Mean is adding, then dividing. Mode is most, mode is most. Median's in the middle, median's in the middle. Range high, low, range high, low. All together now.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I'm sure you'll agree. A very good rendition. You can, of course, pause the video, rewind 30 seconds or so, listen through to that song a few times, and hopefully that'll just give you the little reminder you need to work out these 4 averages. Okay, let's try the second question. We have a slightly larger data set, but we're still going to be able to apply the same knowledge we did in question 1. To find the mode, we want the most common value. So we look at the data set. There is 1, 2, 3 4s, making it the most common, the most frequent. So our mode is 4. To work out the range, we take the highest value, which is 5. We take the smallest value, which is 0. We do a subtraction. So the range of the data, the spread of the data in this question is 5. To find the median, we would need to put the data in order from smallest to biggest, and we would look to find the middle value. Once I've wrote the data in order, 0, 1, 2, 4, 4, 4, 5, you can see that the central number, the middle number, is the number 4, telling us the median is 4. Now we're looking for the mean. So again, we're going to add up all of the numbers in the data set. So we're going to add them together to get a total this time of 20 again. Then we're going to divide by how many numbers are in the data set. This time we're dividing by 7. That's going to tell me that the mean is 2.86. Looks as if I've rounded that to 2 decimal places. So at this point here, you'll see that you will usually be asked, or you will usually be allowed to use a calculator to calculate the mean if it's going to end up as a decimal or a number that needs, or any number that needs to be rounded. Okay, let's have a look at another example. Okay, so this time the data set's a bit smaller again, but I have put a negative number in there. That might cause 1 or 2 little questions or 1 or 2 little problems. For the mode, we want the most common, the most frequent, the number that appears the most, and that of course is the number 2. We've got 2 2s and we've just got 1 of everything else. To work out the range, we take the highest number, which is 7, and the smallest number, which is -5. Remember your number line, the -5 is the smallest value in this data set. When we subtract these, we're doing 7 take away -5. Remember your basic rules of maths. When you're taking away a negative number, it becomes a plus, which gives us an answer of 12. This is a very common mistake that students make. They forget that when you're subtracting a negative number, it becomes an add. So that's telling us the spread of the data, the range of the data is 12. Okay, to find the median, we would put the data in order. Again, the -5 is the smallest value. Then we have 2, 2, 4, and 7. The middle value, once the data is in ascending order, is the number 2. To work out the mean, we add the values together. -5 is included, of course. We add them together to get a total of 10. We divide by how many numbers are in the data set, which is 5. Telling us that we have a mean of 2. So we've got a mode of 2, a median of 2, a mean of 2, but the range telling us the spread of the data is quite wide, is a range of 12. Okay, last example from me. So we have a data set here, -1, 6, 7, 6, 8, and 11. Notice that there is 6 values in this data set. There is an even amount of digits of values in this data set. That's going to cause a slight difference when we work out the median. In the previous 3 questions, we've always had an odd number of data in our data set, which has resulted in a single number being left in the middle. Okay, we'll start with the mode. Most common, we look at the data set, we can see that there's 2 6s, so our most common value, our most frequent number is the number 6. When we're working out range, we take our largest number, which is 11, we take our smallest number, which is -1, we subtract them. Remember, when we're taking away a negative, that becomes an add, so the range of the data, the spread of the data is 12. When I come to work out the median, I put the data in order. Okay, so I put the data in order from smallest to biggest. But because we have an even amount of digits in this data set, we're going to be left with 2 values in the center, 2 values in the middle. And it is that point there where we need to work out the midpoint or the average or the mean of those 2 values. So you can see here, I've put the data in order, -1, 6, 6, 7, 8, and 11. If I look in the center, so if I crossed out my lowest value and my biggest value and my second lowest and second biggest, I would be left with 6 and 7 in the center. I'm left with 6 and 7. I do not say that my median is 6 and 7. That would be incorrect. What I do have to do is find the midpoint in between 6 and 7, which you can see is 6.5. Another way to think of it is we're going to find the average mean of these 2 values. If we add 6 and 7 together, we get 13, and we divide by 2, we're left with 6.5. This case of being left with 2 numbers in the center when you're working out the median will happen every time you have an even number of data in the data set. Okay, when we go to work out the mean, we add our values together to get a total. This time it's 37. We divide that total by 6 because there's 6 numbers in our data set. That is telling me that the mean, rounded to 2 decimal places, is 6.16. Okay, so if we go back to our first slide, we should be able to come up with some definitions of these 4 words. So using Mr. Brown's rhyme, or the explanation that I've given you in this video with the definitions I've been talking about, could you go ahead and write down a definition of each of these averages? You may use examples or you may use sentences to explain how you would find each of these 4 common averages. You may need to pause the video at this time to complete those definitions. Once you've done that, unpause the video and continue to the small task. Okay, so this is your task. I've put a set of 10 questions on the screen, and I'm asking you to find certain averages of these sets of data. For each question, could you show me the full working out so you're showing me a good understanding of the topic? 10 questions should take us possibly 8 or 9 minutes. If you would like to pause the video now, and then I'll show you my solutions with working out in a little bit of time. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you've had a go at those 10 questions. I'm just about to display my answers. Okay, so there are my solutions to the 10 questions. You can see for each one I've tried to show a little bit of working out how I calculated the certain average and why I got that solution.